little bit more. It's a bit more like you have to poop. Like,
If you're training that hard, you need to take a look at your diet.
listen. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a decent amount of blood in everybody's skin.
No, Dan, that's not supposed to. No, just no.
That's what the paper's there for. It's the clot, right?
Oh,
God.
All right, I'm gonna go call my general practitioner. I'll be back.
okay, great. Yes, this is going swimmingly already. Hello and welcome to the GameBrew Podcast, episode 28. I am your naive Ian Richard, and I'm joined by Freeman Dan Rotz.
I don't understand the
Will
reference.
Shell,
Like Gordon Freeman?
and Sayadina Allison Vandevender.
Hello.
Seriously, people?
No, I got
don't know.
nothing.
What
No
is
one,
that?
no one is in
Well,
the Dune here?
No.
Frank Herbert's Dune? Classic
it's
sci-fi
been a
novel,
while.
1985 film?
I read it in middle school.
Tell me.
It's
I
fabulous.
read it, but I don't get it.
Oh my god.
I get it. I get it. It's just been a long time.
It is
okay.
really good. It is really
It is-
good. If you
It was
haven't
very
read-
good.
It was almost like Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones, except much shorter. It's
It was shorter.
it's
Mm.
big,
Big.
but it's not like 800 pages per book big.
Oh. okay.
Yeah, no, Frank Herbert's Dune stuff is really, really incredible. And if you haven't read it, it's more than worth your time.
He's got two first names. I don't trust him.
I have two first names, Stan.
Yeah, that's right. That's why
you
you're
know
not
who
invited.
else has two first names?
Who?
Sam Adams!
Hey!
Take a look back on the first year of the GameBrew podcast. And in the second half of the show, we'll discuss genres that we'd like to see more of. But first, it's time for a beer. A Sam Adams beer, in fact.
Smadams.
Adams.
Smadams.
Ah, open the thing. There it is. I opened it. Oh, Will's
We lost
Will's
him.
gone. He left.
He forgot.
What does it say on the screen when Pokemon run away?
I think it says he
Yeah.
ran away.
Will Shell has run away.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Ah. Amber. The amber waves
Waves of grain.
waves of beer.
Or beer.
That's a really good fucking beer. Like, I mean, if I had to say, this Boston Lager is really good.
Goes great with my Dunkin' Donuts.
I do love me some Dunkin' Donuts.
Boston
coffee.
Lagers. It's wicked
Coffee.
great with Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. Hey, did you park the car?
I didn't park. Why would I park the car? You were driving.
No,
you
I
was,
told you to
you
park
was
the car. I
driving,
gave you-
Dan.
I gave you
I
the
swear to
keys and
God.
said park
I
the
swear
car
to
and have a
God.
car park, and you were just like, "No, I'm gonna punch you square in the face."
Oh my god. And cut. So, Sam Adams Boston Lager is very traditional. Wait, is it what? It's a lager. Of course it is. I don't
It's
know.
a
I just
lager,
said
dude.
Boston Lager, and then I couldn't come up with the. This is why Chris needs to be here.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to say why we're drinking Boston
Why
Lager.
are we drinking Boston Lager?
Because Chris is in Boston at
because
PAX East
Chris
this
is
week.
Boston. Chris is in Boston at PAX East. We are all very jealous. And
We
he's
are.
also doing a service to PAX East, as I understand it. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was. He's working there. In fact, that's why he's not in the recording right now, because he's currently packing things up or helping to pack some stuff up. He just sent us all a picture of the of like the free to
Is he
play.
packing
games
things
area.
up, or is he paxing things up?
Oh, I wonder if they let him move that gigantic 40-some-odd inch ultra wide screen.
Into his car. I
Yeah,
hope they let him move it
Preferably.
into his
Yeah.
car.
Preferably.
or into one of those Overwatch cars. Those things were awesome.
Yeah,
He
those are pretty
is
cool.
supposed to steal one of those for me, so I'm expecting it.
Well, you didn't want the Mercy PC?
I told him to put that inside of the Overwatch car so he can drive
Oh,
them both to me.
Okay.
Apparently, Sam Adams pairs well with the following foods: dark chocolate,
Mhm.
caramel cupcakes,
Mm,
Ooh.
burritos, and
Oh.
fried chicken.
that's a little over the spectrum.
So this is true, I swear, and nobody ever believes me, but you have to try it with any dark beer. Okay,
Mhm.
chew some M&Ms immediately as soon as you swallow the M&Ms. Regular plain M&Ms. Immediately take a sip of beer.
Yes.
Best thing ever.
It's especially good with lagers. It's great with Yingling. I've never done it with Sam Adams, but yeah, absolutely.
I assume it would be a bit more patriotic.
Yeah,
doing it
your
with
right
you.
hand sort of just gravitates to your heart, and then you just kind of stand there.
And then an American flag is there, and you look strangely like Paul Giamatti. I don't know why that happens.
Paul Giamatti, the most American person you can think of?
No, wasn't he in the HBO series, the Sam Adams one?
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
he was.
That went over my
Okay.
head.
It's because you don't have any hair.
Allison, what are you brewing up over there?
In honor of the theme, I went with English breakfast tea for a little
Nice.
Boston history.
Wait, what'd you say? You got English tea? I'm coming over. I'm going to throw that in the harbor. Hold on.
Bring chocolate, M&Ms preferably now, because I need them. And then you can have this and throw it in the harbor.
Okay.
Harbor.
Throw that tea right in the harbor.
Who's the tea manufacturer? The tea provider? The tea
Bagger.
The tier.
Who did you buy your tea from?
This is just a very simple one. I went with the store brand this time. I know.
Swear to God,
terrible.
if you say Food Club, I'm hanging up.
No, it's not.
Okay, thank God.
But yeah, it's just the store brand because it's basic black tea for English breakfast tea. So I don't know. I don't go fancy when it's just simple and there's no fruit involved or anything like that. Really, any English breakfast tea is good for me. With 2 lumps of sugar.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. So something new that we wanted to do this week was to pair the beer that we're drinking with a specific video game. And it was my responsibility to do this. I think I have the perfect one. I'm just going to wait for this truck to go by. Okay, so Sam Adams, lots of history there, right?
Mhm.
Specifically American history.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's also a lager, which is like it's got a full body. It's not overly bitter, so it has broad appeal, right? And
Okay.
it's not particularly alcoholic, so I didn't think it should be something that should be overly difficult. So broad
Okay.
appeal, American history.
Dark Souls?
No, I went with Call of Duty World at War.
Yeah,
I was ready
like
for
that.
that.
It's good, right?
I like
Yeah,
that.
I think, and even if you're drinking it, it'd be like, you know what? I feel like this is a very Call
Yeah.
of Duty beer.
So what you're saying is you feel like shooting people and making your mom jokes.
America.
There you go.
America. I think that's a good pairing. I don't have anything to disagree
Yeah.
with on that. If anything, I may say that I would go with the earlier Call of Duties and not,
Because it's more
Like-
classic.
yeah, because it's kind of like, like Call of Duty 2.
Which
or
was the
something
first
for the
Call of
Xbox.
Duty that did the D-Day invasion? I'm trying to remember. That might have been a
The
good one
first
too.
Call of Duty, I think. 'cause
Was it the first Call of
I think so.
That might have been a good
the
call.
OG?
The other thing that Chris suggested actually for this pairing was Fallout 4 because Bastion,
True, because
Yeah.
Bassin.
which is
Yeah.
fair. Which is fair. It just felt a little bit on the nose to me.
It does taste a little super mutant-y, I will admit.
So what have we been up to this week? Actually, specifically, I want to go to Allison and see how your leaguing has been going.
It's going pretty good. This week was hard to get with my group because I had a lot of scheduling conflicts, but we got one game in, so that was fun. And this weekend was the North American Spring Championship Series for League of Legends, so that was fun to watch this weekend. I don't know if anyone keeps up with esports, but hey, it's kind of a fun thing to do, so I do that every once in a while.
Tell us, okay, so just for our audience's sake, because we know, but what are you trying to do with your league team right now? Because you have a very specific goal in mind, right?
Well, yeah, we want to build a 5s team and compete. They have a thing now in League that's kind of like Dota, where you can compete for in-game currency prizes and things like that. I mean, ultimately, would I love to be on an esports team? Sure. Do I have realistic goals? Yes. I just like to compete in these tournaments with my friends and kind of like smash, and just have fun with it.
Nice. That's cool.
Nice.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing is WoW, and Noble Garden was this week. So I did a lot of egg hunting for chocolates. And that sounds like a lot of fun. And it was about as much fun as you're thinking.
Sounds, yeah.
Hunting?
What was that event? Like, honestly, like just go run around and look for eggs?
There's lots of things. There's an achievement involved. I had done everything in 2012. So because I've been playing the game for so long. So I had the achievements already. You have to like throw some bunny ears on some female characters, things like that. But the only thing I hadn't, they added 2 new things this year, so I had to get them, and they were pets, and I had to hunt chocolates for that. So yeah.
Got it. Will, what about you, man?
I've been working for like ever straight.
The weekend?
Working for the weekend. I don't know how the melody actually goes. Did a little PUBG while traveling. Not a whole lot of anything. I've been super busy. I'm kind of having some gaming withdrawals.
Did a little PUBG while traveling is a phrase that I would have been very confused by like a month ago.
Yeah. It's like, wait, did you bring your
Dan, what about you, man?
What? A couple things actually. The first thing I'm going to talk about was I just recently picked up Final Fantasy 15 again, just because I only like brushed the surface of it when I started playing it, which also is like playing it for 23 hours is just brushing the surface. So I did that. But the reason I picked up was because I was watching the PAX East live stream on Saturday night because Video Game Orchestra was playing music from Final Fantasy 15. It's like a Boston-based project that does like orchestral arrangements, like orchestral rock band arrangements. I think their director and main guitarist is arranged some of the music for that game, but also my buddy Blaze, who I was in the 2 rock bands with in high school. The first rock band was called Renegade, and the second one was called Insidox. The first one was poppy. The second one was progressive metal.
Okay.
But he's the drummer in the Video Game Orchestra, and so he was like, I got to see him on stage. I was like, I sent him Facebook messages like, I see you on the TV. You're doing cool stuff. You're so awesome. He's really good at drumming. So I was just like, that also made me be like, oh man, I gotta play this game again. So I picked that back up. So I'm wasting some time there. But also, this month is. I got this month's Humble Bundle thing, and Mafia 3 is in that. And Mafia 3 was in that, so I've been playing that. It's pretty fun.
What kind of game is Mafia?
It's by 2K.
It's like a GTA, kind of.
Kind of. It's by 2K Games, so it's more like Sleeping Dogs. If you've played that, it's very similar. Like the driving mechanics are similar, the aim mechanics are similar. It's really cool, but it's like Mafia based. So it starts off. The story is really cool. Really cool. You're like this guy who comes home from, it's 1966. So you come home from the Vietnam War, and then you come, classic, like come home. It's like, hey, your dad's a crime boss and you want to help out the family. So, and then all of a sudden, like stuff gets real. So you gotta do some cool stuff. I recommend it. If I don't want to ruin the story, it starts with a twist.
Are there quests in this game, or is it just like offers that you can't refuse?
You gotta kiss some rings.
Come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding and making me an offer. I'm gonna do the podcast like this.
No, please don't. Please don't.
For the rest of the time. I don't know.
So that's cool.
What are you doing, Ian?
Would you recommend that to other people who don't have Humble Bundle?
I'm still early in it, but the game does have really good reviews. Mafia 3 got some of the better reviews of the Mafia series.
Interesting.
So
cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good if people like story. That's the big thing about that game.
Yes.
It actually has one.
Yeah. And I love story.
Cool.
Love it.
So speaking of games with story, I've been playing Far Cry 5. The story is garbage. It's so bad. The cutscenes in that game are incredibly painful. And what's sad is they started off with a really strong premise. Having an American religious extremist is something that we haven't really seen in video games yet. And so they could have done so much cool stuff, but I think they got cold feet and kind of decided to just muddle things up to the point where no one could be insulted by anything. So there's no like the previous Far Cry games, especially Far Cry 3, had a philosophical bent to them, and to me that's what made the story worth it. And this one wants to look like it has a philosophical bent, but then it's like, nah, actually we're just here to shoot people.
I don't like that. I don't want to turn this into a discussion beyond the scope of the podcast, but I don't like when art, and games are a form of art and storytelling, is afraid to push boundaries.
Okay, hold on. Can you rephrase because that was unclear? You don't like it when games are art, or you do like it when games are art?
I don't like it. Games are art.
Okay.
I don't like it when that art form or any art form is afraid to push boundaries due to social pressures of.
Yeah. They clearly just didn't
Because it's
want
art.
But also money. It's a $1 billion industry. $1 million industry?
$1 billion
dollars?
for sure.
With
Billion,
a B.
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so it seems like Ubisoft just kind of took the easy way out. It's fun. It's 100% complete bonkers crazy chaos, and there's all kinds of cool videos out there. Allison, were you raising your hand?
No, sorry. I was shushing my mom to let her know I was recording. I'm sorry. She was walking by and I didn't.
Ma!
Ma.
What
So
are
I
you doing, Ma? Get out of here.
Hi. And other than that, I've just been playing a lot of Astroneer because I can't help myself. I'm so
You have, Ian,
the
you
game
have a
has
problem.
got me in its clutches. So I've now populated 4 of the, I think there are like 4 of 6 planets, and built all
my
the way up
gosh.
to like the top tier of the technology on each of them to where I can kind of do whatever I want. Next mission is to build a mobile base. So we'll see how that goes. I'll report back. That game is great.
Yes, and we will listen intently to what you have
About
to say.
Astroneer for the 12th time.
Oh, yeah, totally.
All right. So speaking of things from our past, today is our 1 year's podcast anniversary, friends.
Hey.
Celebrate!
Oh, wow. Will, where'd you get all those fireworks
And
from?
the confetti and the clown. Oh, and 3 mimes. 3 mimes who are very quiet,
Are
clearly.
are those mimes? The mimes and the strippers don't seem to be having... Seems like, oh god, they're fighting. Oh
Well, I
god.
had originally
Will.
ordered stripper mimes.
Oh. So the wires got.
But you didn't see the
They-
comma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
that's okay.
pulling the rope impression must be pretty.
Oh, they're male strippers. Oh, okay. I didn't...
Anyway, it's our 1 year podcast anniversary. We've been doing the show for a year. And it's kind of amazing that we made it this far, to be honest. I feel like a lot of podcasts pop up and then they just sort of fizzle out, and here we are trucking right along.
Here we are.
Mhm.
Euro Truck Simulator.
Go team.
So in celebration of our 1 podcast anniversary, we are going to look back on some of the GameBrew past. So there's a bunch of stuff that's changed. There's a bunch of stuff that's stayed the same. Obviously, we've had this like wonderful roster of characters in and out of the podcast. And Allison has been a wonderful addition in the past couple months, I would like to say.
Oh, you guys are
I
great
agree,
at lying.
yeah.
Thank you for putting up with me.
So, guys, we can kick her off the show now, right? That's
Oh, great. But she tests well with the male demographic.
That's my one thing, guys. You got to keep me around because otherwise you don't have your boob to non-boob ratio.
Boob to non-boob
You're
ratio.
evened out
Although,
here.
This is Los Angeles. It is a land of plastic surgery. I can take care of it. So don't you get all high and mighty on me.
I kind of. Okay, never mind. I'm not even going to open that can of worms.
We're gonna let that go.
Oh, God.
And we've also, we've been through some stuff in the last year. A lot of us have been through some tough stuff in the past year too. So things have changed.
But the GameBrew kept on trucking.
That's right. The GameBrew kept on trucking.
The dude abides.
Things that haven't changed. I have been screwing up the intro since the very first episode.
That is true. You did listen to it.
I did. I went
right?
back and listened to episode 2, 002, the first episode that we actually posted on the interwebs, and the intro is real bad. It's bad. Like, I'm sorry, everybody.
It's not. Yeah, it's not good.
We have
don't
streamlined our
apologize. They're-
process. It is getting. We've got a system. Believe it or not, we've got a system and it works.
We do. You know what's interesting though is that if you look at the scripts for like episode 1 and 2, the script quality has declined immensely, but the quality of content
I
is
think
better.
what that says is that we should just stop running off scripts. We should just do this show straight improv.
We
It
should
would be beautiful.
Straight
just
bullshit.
wing it.
Yeah.
That would just be a lot of hey, how's it going? Yeah, You doing okay?
I feel like we talk about things like that plastic surgery boob moment more, though, that we don't need to talk about ever. So maybe it is good we have an outline just for the sake of not having every moment be those moments.
I don't know what you think is wrong with that moment, but okay, sure. So I was listening back to episode 2, and Chris was at PAX for that episode 2, but was able to record because he was being Haas. And he mentions that he played some of the Gwent beta at PAX East that year, and I completely glossed over it. I was like, fucking Gwent. Nobody likes that
and
shit.
Look at it now.
Yeah.
And look at
I know,
you now.
I know. I played a
stop.
lot of Gwent. I actually have not been playing lately. I've lapsed. I've been going to my meetings, so I have like my 2
your month chip
2 weeks. But I'm working on it.
Oh my gosh.
I think something that hasn't changed is that if we allowed it, every single episode somebody would mention Breath of the Wild.
Oh, for sure.
It's true. Or Dark
The Witcher
Souls, or Stardew
Yes.
Valley, or The Witcher
These are
3.
things that would happen
Those
every
are-
single time if
So we've
possible.
implemented rules into the GameBrew podcast. That's an evolution of the past year.
there are rules.
There are
also-
rules.
There are games you don't talk about.
Everyone is installed with a shock chip, and if they mention Breath of the Wild or any of those games, we just shock them, and that's my job. I love this job. It's the best part of being here.
Is that why you're wearing that black leather jacket?
Oh my god, Will.
It is. I am Black Widow. Hey,
It
this
is.
all
Oh my
makes sense
gosh.
right now.
Oh my
It's
god.
the Black Widow
That's
jacket.
great.
so-
Well, I mean, but Dark Souls is a pretty good. Ow! 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 Ow!
We also
Okay.
bought and played some games that fizzled out pretty fast.
Oh, you mean like Absolver?
Dude,
Remember when you
Ian, have you
made
heard
me
about
buy
Absolver? Have you played
my
Absolver?
God, it's supposed to be
gonna be
amazing.
awesome.
Oh man,
Best $30 I ever spent.
I
$20?
had
I don't
such high hopes
remember.
for that game. I really. This is another game where I really think that the platform that they have there is an incredible platform. There's just no content.
I actually prepared
It's just so small.
an audio presentation since this is not a visual podcast. Here's my audio presentation of what it sounds like to listen to Absolver.
I feel like the visual adds to this, by the way. Can we just record this and clip it?
Oh my god, that was great. Thank you.
Like, it's
Will.
just a
Thank
bunch of like
Put on
thudding.
YouTube.
I just
That's-
imagine the poor sound guy in rooms like we need some sound effects that sound like skin hitting skin for some fighting, for some martial arts. I just imagine him in there with like a foam bat and a bag of hammers trying to figure out what the hell to do. Because it's not
Bag of
That
hammers.
escalated quickly.
Okay, yeah. I mean, but seriously,
Oh,
though,
God.
Absolver, I think, was an amazing platform when it came out with not a lot to do. No Man's Sky, Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
I mean, No Man's Sky tanked. It's still a.
Yeah, that was just.
It
But they've
literally
been-
turned out to be No Man's Sky.
But they have been updating it pretty heavily since, and some might argue that it's a playable game now.
Too little, too late.
Some.
So
Yeah, it is. I mean, because that was like a big disappointment right off the bat. That was a big disappointment. What else was a big disappointment?
Xbox One S was just like, hey, here's like some extra potatoes to hold you over until. It's just like a waste of money. I was disappointed by that.
I feel like that. What's funny is Will is disappointed, but it also kind of that console and then the PlayStation iterations kind of opened the door for having not necessarily console generations, but like a console step ladder.
Yeah.
Where they just update it every year.
Yeah, and that's interesting, but then at the same time, it's just I don't know. I don't like that. Just give me a new console when it's time for a new console. Don't make me buy a new one every year.
They're gonna make you do that. They're
I
gonna
know.
make you buy one new one every year, and you're
So-
gonna like it. You're gonna do it.
So here's a fun fact. Do you guys remember Lawbreakers?
I do. That's
So
what I was
back
thinking.
when we recorded episode 2, Lawbreakers still wasn't out yet, and the game is dead now.
So it came out and
It
just
came out
failed, and then
died within the course of this year.
And it
Guys,
looked
we
like it
lasted-
was
Oh,
going to be
no.
so much fun.
That's what you said. Will was like, "Oh my god, this game looks amazing."
Yeah, it did. It was just like it was acrobatic, and you could kick people in the face, and it was chaotic, and I thought it was going to be great.
I feel like that happens so often. It's like Star Wars Battlefront 2. That was so much potential. And then after launch last year, it just it was all about the money and it flopped and there wasn't enough content.
Yeah, it was episode 1.
Oh boy.
So real.
I don't know. Are you talking about the Star Wars movie? Because that's a great movie.
Oh yeah, it's good. Jar Jar made it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of feels.
Yeah, he was the
best.
best.
How you feel about sand, Dan?
I hate sand. Gets everywhere. Isn't that what he says? Hayden Christensen is a national treasure, damn it.
So we also had some questions from our GameBrew listeners for this episode, which is really exciting.
We got some good ones too.
We did get some good ones. This is a really hot button issue, and so I'm going to throw it to Dan first. Dan, this is from our Facebook, and it's from Grizz Lee. And the question is a hot dog a sandwich?
Ooh, that is a tough question, Grizz. Let me lay it down for you. Hot dog is a sandwich.
What?
No.
I'm going with it.
No.
I'm going with it because it's got bread on either side. So, well, are you saying that a submarine sandwich is not a sandwich? Like a Subway sandwich is not a sandwich?
A Subway sandwich is a sandwich because the bread is on the top and the bottom. For it to be a sandwich, the bread must be parallel to the earth, and a hot dog clearly has perpendicular bunnage to the earth.
But you could still eat like a Subway sandwich isn't two halves of bread.
But I think that's a valid argument. That the correct orientation to the earth makes it a sandwich or does not make it a sandwich. Never have I eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, not laid it parallel.
Wait, do you guys not eat? You don't eat your hot dogs like with the hot dog facing sideways and the bun on top?
No, then my ketchup drops.
Okay, great. Moving forward. This is the second question from Grizzly. And really, I think the harder punching one here. Man, he is incisive. Really Grizzly says, your podcast seems to have the momentum of a runaway freight train. Why are you so popular?
I eat my vegetables, cauliflower included.
I was going to say because of the silky smooth tones of your host, you know?
Oh, I was going to say because Ian is a terrible conductor and he doesn't know how to drive this train. And clearly that's why we're a runaway.
That's true.
But we appreciate him for it.
Closer to the actual.
And therefore it is running away. Yep. Okay. That sounds like
it's pretty runaway.
That's fairly conclusive. All right. Next question. If you could only recommend one MMO, this is from Zach Kresny. If you could only recommend one MMO or MMORPG for someone who has never played one, which one would it be and why?
I would have to say, honestly, EVE Online, because it's so unique. It's not that it's fun; it's that it's so unique and it's so different, and it makes you engage in a game world at a level that no other experience does, no other MMO does. I'm not saying it's fun.
I just like the logic. You've never played an MMO. Play this not fun one.
I mean, a lot of people find it to be fun.
Yeah,
I do not, but nothing else engages you like that does, to be fair.
If you've never played an MMO before, I might suggest Guild Wars 2 because the combat is not so like it is MMO-y, but it's a little bit more active where it's kind of more similar to your traditional action RPG. That would be my thought.
That was way better than my answer.
That's sort of like a ramp. I'm like, yeah, you should try out this one that's easy to get into. And Will's like, hey, you should probably just do cocaine first and see. Sorry, Allison.
No, it's fine. Mine's clearly WoW. It really is for people who have never played an MMO. I have played arguably all of the MMOs that have reached any kind of popularity in the last 7 years. And none of them are as good as WoW to me, and something keeps drawing me back. And it's another thing that WoW also has a little bit of something for everyone. Whereas some of those other ones that you guys have mentioned, either the PvP was great, or the questing was great, or there's no end game, so until you get there, it's fun, and then you can't do anything afterwards. So WoW kind of has it all, and they have like goofy fun things to do and the social aspect or the people who are serious about it. It's definitely an all-encompassing MMO for me, and that's the one I always suggest for people.
I'm going RuneScape,
Ooh.
but
Wait, why?
OG RuneScape. Because everyone should play RuneScape at some point. It doesn't matter if it's not 2000 anymore. You go play RuneScape.
I know people
goddammit.
who still play that, so yeah.
Either that or Disney's Toontown.
Oh,
I think
man.
that's- But ask your parents' permission first before you go play Toontown. You can't just do that, you know.
All right. This is actually a really cool question. This is from our Instagram at JRustTerrier. What are y'all's favorite podcasts to consume besides your own? And do you incorporate any elements from them into the show, or do you set out to be unique?
I mean, my favorite podcast, I actually quote all the time, and no one else here understands the quotes that I do, is Hello from the Magic Tavern. It's an improvisational podcast where there's a guy, Arnie Niekamp, who fell through a mystical portal behind a Burger King in Chicago. And then it took him to the magical land of Foon. But he had all his podcasting equipment with him, so he still releases a podcast every week from a magical tavern called the Vermilion Minotaur in the town of Hogsface in the land of Foon.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
And he's joined every week by his two companions. One is a wizard named Usador the Blue. It's much longer. He has lots of different names. And a talking badger who's actually a shapeshifter, but usually is a badger, named Chunt.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Chunt?
Chunt.
One more
Yes.
time.
It's a
Okay.
Chunt.
Um,
And yeah, it's just really funny and creative, and like it starts out as being like 25 minutes. Now they're more like 45 minutes.
try to
but
incorporate elements from Hello from the Magic Tavern in the GameBrew podcast, Dan.
I will say I have learned a lot of improvisational things from it, just because they talk a lot about improv and the way that they interact with each other. You kind of learn, even though they're kind of making fun of podcasts as well while being on one. It's kind of a cool way to like get some podcasting tips, you know, from stuff, or you know, how to talk to people.
What
It's
about
kinda
you,
fun.
Will? What do you listen to podcast wise?
I listen to a pretty eclectic set of podcasts. I've got everything from like serial killer podcasts to
Like podcasts that serial killers listen to, or
no, like
podcasts
podcasts
that-
about like
Oh,
like
I
there was
see.
a cool one I listened to a few weeks ago. It was like
Hello and welcome
6
to the
hours
Sharpest
about
Knife
Ted Bundy.
podcast.
Yeah, you know. I like storytelling podcasts. Probably what I listen to the most is from the TWIT network, TWIT, which stands for This Week in Tech. Any of our older audience who can remember ZDTV and Tech TV will remember Leo Laporte and the
Oh
TWIT
yeah.
network. So all that went off the air, and Leo Laporte just started his own radio show, and it's somewhere out in LA, so he's on the air, like on the actual turn the knob, find him on the radio station. But he also turned that into a podcast, and he's grown it into a fully fledged network that does audio and video podcasts, and they've got everything from tech support podcasts. They brought back the screensavers. They got the rights to that. So the screensavers that was once on the TV networks is back, to This Week in Computer Hardware, This Week in Google, This Week in Android, This Week in Apple, This Week in iOS. So this, you're noticing the theme here, This Week in whatever. The one I listen to the most is This Week. I think it's actually called This Week in Tech. I think it's named after the network. And he just sits down with a roundtable discussion, kind of like what we do, and talks about the week's news. And they always have interesting panelists and well-educated folks who know what they're talking about in the industry. And it's a lot of fun.
Allison.
Cool.
Me? Sorry. Hi. I I didn't hear you at first. I will try this again. So I don't listen to a lot of podcasts because I don't have a lot of time to, unfortunately. But one that my friend has turned me on to is the Adventure Zone.
I love the Adventure
yes.
Zone.
So that's really
Oh,
cool.
I love Dungeons and
Yes,
Dragons.
and it is a podcast that does Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a light
nice.
rule version, which I appreciate. And it's a spinoff from some guys who did a podcast called My Brother and Me, and the McElroys, very popular podcasters, and it's just super fun. They have a good time with it. They play off of each other. They goof, and you can tell they're enjoying themselves, and they don't take things too seriously, which I guess is something that I try to implement here a little bit, is try not to take myself too seriously and have fun with it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Ian takes himself too seriously. So
I do. The problem is that I listen to a lot of Terry Gross interviews.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh Air is I literally
That explains so much.
I'm so obsessed with Terry Gross. I just think like whatever you think of NPR, I don't care. Terry Gross is an incredible interviewer.
Mhm.
She is so gifted and like clearly like has just this super incisive wit and the ability to ask questions and not be an asshole, but also to get to the bottom of the issues. I want to have her on the show. She doesn't know any. I mean, I don't know if she does video games or anything, but she's just like I'm just obsessed with Terry Gross.
What, you didn't? She's got a huge ad about that. Terry Gross does video games. That's what it says.
Really?
Yeah,
We're gonna be
that's
best
a
friends.
GameBrew fact right there.
Okay, so moving forward, there is a really okay. We'll do one kind of big question that we're going to take lightly, and then we'll do one quick question, and then we're going to move on to the second half of the show because we're getting late in time. So here's the big one that we're going to take lightly for now. This is from Eric Weiss as well. He says, I have found that I only play games that are orthogonal to violence. Orthogonal, in case I had to look this word up.
Yeah, I would need to know. I'd need you to describe it because I don't know what it means.
It means referring to a thing in 90-degree angles. So what he's saying is his interests lie orthogonal, as in not pointed at
got it.
violence at all. So he plays games like City Skylines, Mini Metro, OpenTTD, and his question is, why is the gaming market for games that don't have violence in them so much smaller than the male violence fantasy market?
I think that has a lot to do with a lot that we are not trained to talk about, such as like, no, seriously, like psychology and a desire for, like, we have this innate desire for like action and being just general badassery. And I think it has a lot to do with just psychology. I don't know.
I mean, I've said it before that it's like video games are this escape from reality. So sometimes it's kind of like you're not going to be that really violent person in real life, but you want to like go and do something else. Like, I don't want to farm stuff in real life, so I want to go farm stuff.
Exactly. And what does that say? That we want to be violent, but we don't want to be violent.
Yeah, like you said, we're not scholars on this matter. But it's definitely psychological in that back in the day we used to have to hunt and protect ourselves, and we don't anymore. So maybe it's something very animalistic in us. And it's kind of a release of it to like survival games right now are so big. That kind of idea. We're in a very cushy, like taken care of environment, and that lets us kind of break out of that and release a little bit of it potentially. And I think those games sell well because that's a universal like instinct, I guess. Whereas only certain people want to play a train simulator game, or they want to play a farming simulator game because they live in a city and that's something they don't do. So again, that would be my really uneducated guess.
I think it's a great guess.
Allison says, because everybody likes violence. That's why.
I mean, deep down, I think it's kind of in us.
Yeah, no, I think you're onto something there. And I particularly think that back in the day when video games were being marketed early on, they were primarily marketed at boys, and there's much more of a market for boys and violence than there is for girls. And so video games just kind of skewed that way. Now, whether or not that perception is one that's created by our society or that's created by biology, I think it's certainly debatable, but may have something to do with it. But that's a really good question. And I think we may try to explore that in a different show. So hang in there, Eric, if we didn't answer it to your liking. We'll get back to it. All right, so last question, and we'll just sound off real quick on this one.
Well, there are two more, but answer the one.
Yeah, okay. So the first one is if you this is from Casey Lore. If you could cosplay any video game character without a limit on supplies, time, or money, who would you be? Good question. I know what mine would be.
Well, who would it be, Ian? Tell me who.
I would do a sick Reinhardt costume because that would just be awesome.
Pretty cool.
Well, mine's definitely Mercy to play off of that. I've been trying to figure it out for a very long time, but those wings, man, they're gonna be difficult. And everyone I've talked to who's done it at cons, they're just like, I'm miserable. Don't do this to yourself. This is so heavy. And I'm just like, oh, I got to figure out how to make it not heavy. But yeah, that's definitely my cosplay goal.
I would want to do Erdnot Rex from the first Mass Effect. He's a big dinosaur-looking thing with a really kick-ass outfit.
That would be really cool.
He's kind of like a Triceratops with a shotgun. A bipedal Triceratops.
Perfect description, actually.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with good old Link, but I want to like make the real stuff. Like I want to do Ocarina of Time Link, but I want to have like a real shield that's made of like metal, like a Master Sword and
a forged sword.
Stuff. Yeah, like I want to forge all this crap, dude.
Yeah, train with it left-handed for a long time.
So I'd have to, because I'm right-handed. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And then the final question, which is very timely. This is from Call Me Tori. It must be from Instagram.
Yeah, it's Tori. That's my buddy Tori.
Yeah. He says.
She says.
How long are your recording sessions usually before they get edited? Well,
Tori,
let me tell you, the edit that you hear is actually just our natural speaking. We're in fact that well spoken and eloquent. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Said no one here ever.
You've heard how many times Ian screws up the beginning. Jesus.
Yeah.
Just that itself is 30 minutes.
Probably usually we end up with between an hour and a half and 2 hours of raw material that we chop into about an hour of stuff. Some of it is like we go to the bathroom or we forget the beer or I have to do the opening once or twice or 12 times. That's about right, I think. All right, cool. Well, that's it for the first half of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about genres and specifically genres that we want to see more of. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the second half of the GameBrew podcast, episode 28. Just wanted to check in with that Sam Adams beer. How's it treating you, people?
Patriotic.
Patriotic.
It's easy drinking. So I mean, it's like just drinking a lager, then it's it's good.
It goes down easy.
It's like water, but with a 5% alcohol by volume rating.
And flavor.
I
would say of the incredibly wide release beers, we're talking like, Budweiser,
Coors,
Miller.
I don't do Coors.
This one's got to be the best, right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I think it's kind of like everyone has their favorite, like, easy drinking beer. Like, everybody has one. My father's is PBR. Like, he loves Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's just what he loves. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what he likes, It's cool and refreshing. But
that's true.
I enjoy a nice Yingling every once in a while. That
would be my go-to.
Yeah.
Yingling, for sure. That was what we always had in the house when I was a lad.
Mm-hmm. When I was a wee lad.
When I was a young warthog, as it was. Allison, is the tea still hot?
Yes. It is only because of the big cup. It helps with that. But
Allison, do you take your tea with cream?
No. I am usually a honey person. I do a little bit of honey in it. Just because honey's like really the best sugar for you. It has a lot of like astringent kind of things if you're sick too, by the way. Little known fact, it helps with coating your throat in a lot of ways and killing some germs. But I usually just do honey, but for this one I did 2 lumps of sugar. And
nice.
2 lumps.
Or I do black.
So you're never cream in your tea.
Never cream. I don't know.
Man.
That's weird to me.
No. Like I was a tea person. Well, I still am a tea person. There was this tea house in Harrisonburg back in the day. That was the best.
There was.
It was really good too. I think it was Miss Hardesty's.
Miss Hardesty's, yeah.
Yeah. Totally legit. And I will never not put cream in my tea ever again.
Fair enough.
Don't do double negatives. It makes me confused.
I will never not do double negatives, Dan.
Ugh,
Ah.
brain hurts.
All right, so second half, we're going to talk about genres and specifically genres that we want to see more of. So in the past couple of years, and I feel like maybe all the time in gaming, there have been rashes of genres, right? It always comes in waves. So recently we've had battle royales. In the recent past, there was a glut of survival games. Before that, it was every game was somehow a first-person shooter. So which genres do we want to see more of now?
Anime dating sims. Just more.
No.
Just there's like 900. I want more.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're just not trying hard enough if you think you need more. It exists on the internet, Dan. Whatever
It's
you're
like-
looking for.
Is it like
it's
rule?
out
It's like
there.
rule 34. It just doesn't
Yeah.
matter
Yeah,
what type
oh,
of
it's
dating sim
very-
you're looking for. It's out there.
It's very Rule 34.
God.
So try harder.
It's
That's
true.
all I'm gonna say.
They did just come out with the horror murder anime dating sim, which was Doki Doki Literature Club.
Doki Doki?
Which I really want to try, actually.
I watched Game Grumps play it because I wasn't gonna play it myself. And man, is it scary, but also hilarious
Takes
to
a
watch
turn.
them. Yeah, it's so good to watch them play it though. Like they are so funny.
Allison, have you played any anime dating sims?
Well, I am a big fan of visual novels, and weird is cool with me. I don't care. So I've played a lot of visual novel dating sims too.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, I've played a lot, including one that you date pigeons. That's a thing.
Wait, like you're a pigeon who date? Please tell me.
No, you're a human
who
who
dates,
dates
pigeons?
pigeons. They have human visuals, but they're never actually humans.
What?
It's amazing.
What?
Okay.
I must see this game. You
It
need to
is-
send me.
What is it called?
Oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now. I have a pillow. Oh gosh, this is way too much information about me. Welcome, Gaming Brew listeners. You are about to learn way too much about
That's
What is
me.
it called?
Um,
Hatoful Boyfriend?
Hatsufo Boyfriend, and I got it out of a Humble Bundle, actually. I got a
Okay.
Humble Bundle visual
Oh,
novel,
awesome.
and the big prize was if you paid the most, you got a special gift, which ended up being a pillowcase with
my
one of the
God.
pigeons on it,
Oh.
and it's in a maid costume on one side. It's flawless, guys.
Well,
I must
so
play this.
explain what made this great, because it has really high ratings on Steam too.
because it's ridiculous. It's
Oh.
ridiculous,
Oh,
but it's
purposeful.
well made. It is
Okay.
well made.
Nice.
It is a good visual novel, but it is just insane. It's so funny and out there, and I love it. And I really suggest everybody play it. And yeah,
I really do enjoy the visual novel type games. Those are a lot of fun. That kind of started with Telltale. Well, really before that, but Telltale I feel like hugely popularized it.
popularized it here for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I really like them. They're tons of fun. If you love story, those are games to dive into.
Yeah, I agree with you. I could use more of those because they're like candy. Like you pick them up, you tear through them, you cry, and then you want more. And that's generally how I do candy
Oh.
too. Pick it up, you tear through it, you cry.
I was
And then you want more.
wondering. I was wondering. What's the?
I would really.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. Sorry.
No, you go.
No, you.
You go,
No,
you
you
go.
do it.
Guys, stop it.
I would really like to see a resurgence. They're still around a little, and they tried years ago. Do you remember the RTS / first-person shooter games? It's like real-time strategy, like top-down view, like Command and Conquer. But certain sections of the game you played in first-person mode.
Give me an example.
These are still around, like Nuclear Dawn, which has crap reviews. Don't play it.
Okay,
Don't.
got it.
There was one that was fairly popular somewhat more recently called Natural Selection. Now there's a Natural Selection
Yes.
2.
Yep. Yeah.
I think there was
I
a
know what you're talking about.
Warhammer game, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that Dawn of War?
It may be Dawn of War. I think you're right. That did this. And I thought it was such a cool concept. The problem that most of the games ran across with this is that one of the two, if not both game modes, suffered and wasn't as engrossing as either of them were as separate entities. So you got some first-person shooter, but it wasn't all that great, or you got, I would like to see something where both are really engrossing and a lot of fun. Or a multiplayer version of this, a co-op, I should say, version of this, where like one person plays as the commander. Maybe this exists and I just don't know it. Like, and you have the RTS view, and you sort of are calling the shots and explaining what to do for your teammates who are in first person mode and they maybe don't have a commander's view of the battlefield.
This was kind of a concept, the original concept with Dust 514 or Dust 514, if you guys remember this game.
Yeah.
So Dust 514 was a first person like Call of Duty like shooter that existed within the EVE universe. So the idea was that you could call it into your squad in EVE, and then they could use ships to like mortar spaces in the first person shooter universe. And I think this is a great idea. To me, something that I want to see more of is games that stay within the same universe but switch genres, because I feel like usually that's a really cool way to kind of introduce you to new kind of gameplay. I don't know. I always love stuff like that.
So do you mean like an Overwatch game that plays like XCOM, for example?
Yeah,
that would be cool. So cool. Or in fact, we just need more XCOM like games, basically. That's also good.
I can never get behind it, the XCOM stuff. I always get a little bored.
What?
I do. I get a little bored with it. I don't know what it is.
This is what you do, Dan. You go into XCOM, you boot that up, you start your squad, and you name it after people you care about.
I did.
Yep.
I did that with you guys, and then you all died, and I was just like, well, this is fine.
And then you have to avenge us, Dan.
I didn't do that though. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I feel like RTSs are really limited now too, just in general. That would definitely be something that's good to come back.
Yeah.
And my big one is Japanese horror games. That was always one of my favorite genres.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it be good in a really long time. And I'd love to see it again. Obviously Resident Evils, obviously Silent Hills, but I liked the weirder ones.
Yeah,
I liked the Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame was so scary.
It was literally my favorite game for the longest time.
Is that the one where you're armed with a camera?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're armed with a camera against ghoulies is the best way to put it. The story is phenomenal. Visually, the game is beautiful, and you have a camera to defend yourself. Like, that is the scariest thing in the world. Like, give me a gun, give me something to shoot things, but if I just have this spectral camera that specially like makes ghosts go away, I feel very naked and very, very scared and intimidated in the environment. So that is a genre I would love to see again. I miss it.
I feel like that would also translate really incredibly well into VR.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Resident
Yeah.
Evil 7. I mean, that's like terrifying. Even though it's like in VR, it's scary. Like just as a first person game, it's scary too. Like there's nothing, or like Outlast. Oh, imagine Outlast in VR.
That would be cool. Outlast would scare the crap out of you in VR. Not to mention, I feel like that would be really disorienting because of all the free running.
Ooh, or what if you had to like hold up the camera with your actual hand? Like you couldn't if you held it up, and that's how you saw Outlast.
Now that I like.
Developers, you got to get on this, please.
That would sell me on VR.
Yeah.
You can send the royalties to us here at the GameBrew.
Yeah. Or just to me
You can
personally.
reach us.
I'm fine. That's fine.
No, the GameBrew.
Ah.
And X game like games, like give me good old Tony Hawk Pro Skater or SSX Tricky or
My god, the SSX games!
Yeah.
I forgot
Forgot
about
about
those.
those.
They were
they were
good.
so fun, so fun.
They were good until they did their most recent one. Just kind of threw the formula out the window.
Right, and I think that's the problem. They need to go back to that old like
Goofy,
bare bones.
yeah, like goofy, crazy stuff that doesn't make any sense. You want to do a 5,060 spin off of a building and land it perfectly? Yeah, I want to do that.
Not everything has to be realistic. Like that was kind of the draw of a lot of those games is like they're extreme sports. And yeah, sometimes it's fun to do what they're doing, like in Tony Hawk Pro Skater. But there was even an extreme element to that where it's like, this is not realistic, but I still love it. And this is so fun. And I think there's an opportunity there because those sports are only getting more extreme and the things that they're actually doing in real life is huge. So I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. One of mine that I kind of debated about a lot was I'd really love to see more isometric third-person dungeon crawlers. And stick with me here.
Okay.
So like Diablo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Diablo and Path of Exile are just both so big that it's kind of sucked all of the oxygen out of the room, where no one else wants to even try to get into this because they already have done it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I just want more loot. So if someone
More
could figure that out for me, that would be great.
Ian, you know what they say? More loot, more problems.
Now that would be a cool Overwatch title because of all the abilities.
Oh
and the
my
way you
God.
form your groups.
That would be
More
fun.
loot, more problems.
to go dungeon crawling as like Reaper or Reinhardt or
Yeah, I mean, just swing that hammer in
That
a
would
big
be cool.
circle.
That would
just
be interesting.
Knock some crap over. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody call Blizzard.
Let's just get on that.
Hold on, I'm gonna like Blake. Get Blake, guys, call Blizzard. Get him on the phone.
Okay. Dan,
Uh,
I was wondering, have you had any calls lately from the MFC? Is he around?
The MFC? I don't know. He said he was gonna probably like. Oh, you know what? Hold on one
Is
second.
someone at the door?
I think someone's
Yeah,
not.
go
Hold on
check
one-
out that.
hold on one
Go
second.
check out.
Of course, I would love to be on the podcast. I'm coming on all the time, and it's great. Oh, hello everybody. How are you?
How unexpected!
It's
This
me,
is
the Mandatory
wonderful.
Fun Commissioner. I decided I'd stop by and see how everybody was doing.
Yeah, we hear you're recently back from Australia.
Oh yes, yeah. People all the time they're thinking that I am from Austria, and I'm like, why? Why do you think that I'm from there? It's so strange. But yes, no, I'm back from Australia, and I had a very fun idea for some mandatory fun. Do you think you'd be interested in playing some?
I mean, it doesn't sound like we have a choice,
Sounds
to be
great.
honest.
It's true, it is mandatory, so you do not have choices. It is time for mandatory fun.
Oh my God, I am dying.
So I was playing a game with some of my friends down in Australia, the land down under, and it's we it's very hard to breathe in here. This is a game it's called Mixed Up Taglines. I have some taglines from video games, since I know you all love video games so much. And I'm going to say them. All the words are out of order. You will not be able to tell it right away. For instance, I'll give you an example. You ready?
Mhm.
All right. So here's one. So you'd have to tell me what game this is from. Over get here.
That would be Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat.
Yes, yeah, see, because the words are in a different order from where you see they are normally. Yeah, that's get over here from Mortal Kombat. Yeah. So that would be one mandatory fun point for Ian. He gets some. He didn't get any last time, so that it's important that he gets
That's
at
my
least one.
consolation,
Yes,
mandatory.
that's a consolation point. All right, here we go. You ready? Princess Mario, another you, but is thank in our castle. Ian, yes.
Thank you, Mario, but the princess is in another castle?
That is correct, yeah. I believe the actual term is, thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another castle. But I'll give you the point. That's one mandatory fun point for Ian. Here's the sound. Bling. That's where it goes. All right.
Okay, wait. Are we supposed to say the phrase or what it came from?
Oh, well, both.
Because now I'm lost.
You do both. Just
Okay,
do both.
okay.
Because some of them will be very easy if you just
Okay.
say what it's from. Okay? Here's another one. Everything is nothing is permitted true.
I know this. Say it again.
Everything is nothing is permitted true. Ian.
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
Yes, what is it from?
It is from. It's from. I don't know. I can't get there.
That sounds like BioShock.
No, it's not.
Is it from? Does the person like climb walls and stuff? Is there a lot of parkour involved? God damn it! What is the name of this game?
If somebody says it before he does, then they get points.
It has M's in it. Shit.
It has M's in it. No, it does not. There are actually no M's in the title of this game.
I know it too, but I can't think of it.
One came out and it wasn't as good. Oh God, what is it called?
Oh God, no mandatory fun points for you. It's from Assassin's Creed. I can't believe you don't understand.
Oh, I thought it was from the girl one. I was thinking of the girl parkour one.
No, it's not. It's not
Mirror's
that.
Edge.
Mirror's Edge,
which does have an M in it.
No points for you. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, this one should be pretty easy, so hopefully somebody aside from Ian will get it. All right. Never war changes war.
Oh, shit. I only know part of it.
What? Hold on, say it again?
Never war changes war. Yes.
War. War never changes.
Yes, Will. Yes. What game is that from?
From Fallout.
Yes.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, whenever
The two wars threw me off.
I couldn't figure out where to put the other war.
Oh, you want to be confused? Here's one for you. Took I like me, used an adventurer until the UB22 arrow.
I used to be an adventurer until I took an arrow to the knee. That would be Skyrim.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow, that was good.
Oh boy, Ian has so many mandatory fun points right now. How about this one? A roll, do barrel. Will, go for it.
Do a barrel roll.
Yep, that's
Star Fox.
Yep,
64.
that's what it is. Yeah, do a barrel roll. Oh, excuse me. All right. How about this one? Effective super it's.
It's super effective. Oh.
No, you don't get points for calling out. You have to raise your hand first. Just for that, I'm going to call on somebody else. Allison, what is it from?
It's super effective Pokemon.
Ah, yes. She gets mandatory fun points. Ian, I'm taking away all of your mandatory fun points for calling out without raising your hand.
Damn it. You're so harsh, Commissioner.
I tell you, it's mandatory fun. It's fun, but it is mandatory. All right.
They're knowingly harsh in Australia.
It is. It's a very harsh environment. Our bugs are freaking huge. Have you seen them? All right. Let's try this one. I love this one. Bubble gum. It's ass out of time, and I'm gum, and all kick, and to chew.
Oh, I'm gonna mess up the line. Hold on.
Allison knows it, so she's gonna answer it first.
I know it. I'm going to mess up the line, so I'm trying to. If somebody knows the line, they can go.
You say it, Allison. No, I believe in you.
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum?
Yes, that is correct. What's it from?
Duke Nukem?
Yes.
I was going to say, that has to be Duke Nukem.
I was like, I'm going to mess this line up. I'm so bad at that.
That one was so fun to write. Bubblegum. It's ass out of time, and I'm gum, and all kick and to chew.
Oh my god, that's great.
Oh boy. Here we go. All right, how's this one? This dangerous go. Take It's Alone too. Yes, Ian.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Yes. Yes.
Zelda.
That is
Legend of
Zelda.
man.
Yes. Let's see. How many?
Do I get to shock Ian for that one? I'm going to.
Oh, you do, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look out, she's pressing the button. Oh, that's
every time.
That is kinky. I don't. All right. Anyway. All right. Let's see. I think I only have one more. This one is very difficult. Oh no, there's two more. Okay. Here's this one. Okay. Snake. 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 Yes, Will.
I want to hear Will do this.
I do believe the correct order is snake, snake, snake.
Yes, that is correct. What is it from?
It's from Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yes, mandatory fun points for you, William. Oh, so good. All right, and here's your last one. Are you ready? All right. Died of you have dysentery. Yes, Allison.
You have died of dysentery. Oregon Trail.
Yes, classic Oregon Trail. All right. So that's all I have for you. So let's see. Let's count up the mandatory fun points and see. I believe Allison may be the winner. She has 3.
Yeah. Who takes home the bullwhip of mandatory fun this week?
You know what? I'm going to give the mandatory bullwhip of the bull. Oh God, it's so hard to pronounce the words. The bullwhip of mandatory fun. To be honest, I forgot the point values, but I'm going to give it to Allison anyway. She's wearing black leather, so it seems like she should have it. All right, so I'm going to give that to you. I will send that to you in the mail. Just be ready for it.
I am very ready.
Yes, it's geez. Maybe I'll have to come visit Allison over there. But anyway, all right. Well, I have to go. It was good to see all of you. I'll put Daniel back on the microphone. Oh, good. Auf Wiedersehen, my friends. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Or as we say in Australia, have a good eye, y'all. Yeah, bye. See you, man. Wow, he's an interesting guy.
All right, well, that's it for us at the GameBrew podcast this week. If you have questions, or you want to leave a comment, or you want to speak to the Mandatory Fun Commissioner, you can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the GameBrew. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you, man. Wow, he's an interesting guy.
And those hot pants.
I mean, really, I don't understand why he goes with puce for a color, but like it's very regal.
And the metallic sheen. Ooh.
I mean, only certain men can rock that, so good for him.
He's good. I mean, the MFC is a great guy. He's a great guy.
Are assless chaps normal all throughout Australia, or is that?
I'm
can
gonna
only
assume
hope.
yes.
I can only hope.
Okay, that's